Don't worry, we're going to look at it again, but we're also going to look at a lot of different things again out of that game. And I want to start out with Caps. We had a big question mark around him. What is he going to do? And he got the first blood on Perks and the second blood, setting Fnatic up for a very, very good start, VODS, and you wanted to take another look at how that happened.
Yeah, I mean, Caps, I criticized him in Game 1. He definitely stepped up in Game 2, in part due to Perks' slight mistakes, but also due to the fact that, honestly, his awareness and understanding was just on point. Note that he manages to flash at just the right time and punishes Perks for just being a little bit too close to the turret. And it was just, honestly, really impressive play coming out from Perks.
I mean, this is the follow-up where he gets away again in this replay, and he'll live. He's gonna walk forward right now to proc Storm Raiders, I think, to then walk out, or it's a Ghost.
Ghost plus Storm Raiders, yeah.
It looks like both. And then he just finishes off Perks, but he uses the shield. But we have to go back to that first replay, and I cannot stress enough how much of an outplay that was, because even if he flashes forward and the turret shot doesn't come out, he's not going to get that kill. He will die to minions and auto attack from Perks. So not only does he make the decision as this ball is flying to not flash out backwards or sideways left, to actually flash forwards, he also knows that Perks is in tower range and has yet to get aggro when this guy flashes. So it's like an absolutely insane play, or whatever word.
Insanity.
Insanity. Anybody wants to use, but like it's just disgusting to make that
Why is
read.
Perks in tower range?
I mean, no, there's nothing wrong with Perks being tower range.
Hey, I think we just need to clear that out.
95% of the time, this is a super strong play from Perks that gets him first blood that ends the game. Because G2's game plan is Syndra winning that matchup early with push. If he can get a kill there, goes back, lost chapter, starts pushing, roams bot, this game's over.
I just wanted you to say that because we don't want to fall into that trap of, oh, it was just Perks overextending. No, it was good play from both sides, but Caps, and this is very important, also for his confidence in his first game on the big stage, he pulls a play like that off, and then you can say the game could have been won for there. They had a good advantage, but it became super, super scrappy. We have another couple of replays. One of them is the Baron fight where Fnatic ends up picking up the Baron after being quite far ahead also. So how did they play this correctly?
I mean, they were zoning out G2 quite frequently. This was just Perks trying to deal with the bottom wave in terms of minion pressure. And then Fnatic, they wait long enough. Honestly, it's still a 50-50 or like 60-40 because Strix's coming in. Some junglers say that it's easier to try and steal than to secure. Others have different opinions. But anyways, this was Fnatic looking for a way to break the game open. And from that point on, they were trying to break the base, but they kept making the mistake of grouping up and never putting Caps on the side lane.
Yeah, the actual setup moving into the later stages was a little bit messy. We saw Fnatic getting caught out a lot, and especially in these mid-game fights, where every time they tried to push up in Siege, they often got very heavily punished for it. G2 did a really good job, and Sven in particular actually did a fantastic job of punishing the misplays coming out from Caps.
Yeah, it's just stupid how good this guy is, because he's landing in so many players here with arrows, Soaz on their turret here or maybe here. He takes a sidestep to arrow Caps, and there's no way he's aiming for Soaz. This is like calculated, because this is the second time on a Siege of Fnatic he hits Caps with an arrow to really stall the fight, and then Fnatic just get broken down. They pick 2 kills on the back of this play, but again, if Sven misses any of these arrows or plays it slightly different, Caps is just going to pop off.
And it's the fact that Sven did this twice that kept G2 in the game for such a long time. And really, given the strength of the gold advantage that Fnatic had for practically the entire game, the fact that a single player like Sven was able to keep his team alive for such a long time demonstrates the skill of this team.
And incredibly back and forth. And as the game was approaching, that end of the game was like, well, they do have the Ryze ultimate. You had a bit of doubt. Okay, you know, they can't just go in because G2 will just fall back and defend, but they found the opening.
I mean, they got lured into the trap. Fnatic just
kind
of just like, come on, come and get it. So it does tell us that Fnatic, in terms of like clean map macro, still need to improve in terms of silent pressure. But when it comes to the cheese, like we saw earlier, they abused the Rek'Sai. Everybody thinks here it's over because Soaz is getting focused down. And then Sven has to walk backwards because if he doesn't challenge his TP, they get backdoored. So he kind of face checks the enemies. It's beautiful.
So the consensus here is that they were just waiting and saying, okay, yeah, now is the go time, let's go, let's end it.
It was a catch-22 situation where if that arrow had landed onto anyone else, maybe it could have been the win for G2, but the fact that it hit onto Soaz and the fact that Caps just said, okay, we're going, let's go, and they were able to get the backdoor. But you saw that before that happened, they already wanted to make that play. Krepo and I were talking about all the vision that was coming out, the vision denial from Fnatic as well. That play wanted to happen, and it was just G2 saying, let's get them before they can make it happen, and it just didn't work out.
And that was just a super nice game to watch. And so often with fun games to watch up and down, you say, oh, it's fun to watch because it's low level and it's Clown Fiesta here or there. How high was the level of this game, you think?
I think it was lower than the first game.
Yes.
I think G2 showed that they are really good at stalling pressure. So this was the problem with G2 at Worlds. Like, they're really good at playing very clean games throughout the season domestically, but then when something goes wrong, especially at Worlds, this was what was happening to them.
So Fnatic is as good as an international team in 2016.
No, Perks is inting as much as he was at Worlds. Basically at Worlds, they lost their mid lane turret very early, which means they lost the pressure, and it cascaded into different lanes. Here, they lost the matchup really early because Perks had those two duels that were honestly fantastic outplays from Caps, where then they had to yield the pressure. But then you saw the synergy between Trick and Mythy, though, in terms of vision control, double sweepers, walking in, playing with the global on the rec side. It was very hard for Fnatic to get a conclusive draw on the Baron.
Yeah, and you also talk about synergy. I do want to point out, even though his stat line wasn't great, Soaz had some fantastic moves as well, and he and Amazing have got some good synergy, so you can't just forget about that either.
I mean, it is very difficult to stand and hit as a
As a Nautilus. I mean, the hooks have to hit as well, and
no,
they
I mean,
did.
he definitely did play well. He played his part, and his ability to just be that frontline intact. His target focus was outstanding as well. The fact that he would hold his ultimate for a long time in a lot of those engagements was valuable, and you know, you have to praise him even if he was just a massive wet noodle.
I think we need to see more synergy between Amazing and Jezus in particular. Because I think that's where it goes wrong, where G2 eSports have really good vision in between the pressure lanes that they're playing around. Fnatic is kind of lacking that, and the setup. It obviously doesn't help that both of them were playing non-tanky champions, but I think that's what's holding them back. Because Fnatic were playing a very condensed map in the end, where they kept like 5-man sieging over and over because they felt safe in numbers and they were so afraid of being picked off on the side lanes. G2 played the open map a little bit better, in my opinion.
And prediction-wise, you guys both said 2-0 for G2. Now it's 1-1 all square. Do you still give it to G2 in the end?
I feel like from what we've seen so far, my prediction is still towards G2, just simply because if it wasn't for those outplays in the early game, I feel like this would have been a much cleaner. I think G2 would have won it.
Woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, 100% agree.
All right, G2 it is for our analysts. We'll see what Fnatic can do. Coming up, the third and deciding game in the series between G2 and Fnatic. Don't touch that browser. We will be right back.
Gets the stun, Caps flashes forward, turns it onto Perks, first blood to Baby Faker!
Oh my god, that is why I like this guy so much!
Looking for the kill, one auto, the shield, Caps does it again! Is in trouble, the shield comes up, the depth charge goes down, 200 HP, eat the meow guard! They try! Bullet time tagging up Soaz, and Amazing re-engages, the dredge line locks down Trick, it's now a 2-for-2, and G2 are running. The rest of Fnatic, they're back up behind, Spin is down, Fnatic, they're going for the Nexus, Reckless is killing the Nexus, G2 have been routed, we are going to game 3.